Welcome to Game Fondue Reviews. In this video we're going to take a look at Jaipur. Might be pronounced Jaipur, might be pronounced another way, not sure, but I'm going with Jaipur. It's a fun, fast-paced, two-player card game in which both players are merchants competing to essentially be the best merchant. So let's jump right in, briefly go over the rules, see a few example turns being played, and then I'll finish with some closing remarks. This is the setup for Jaipur. First thing you do is you deal out 3 camels to the market, then you give each player a hand of 5 cards. Any camels among them are going to go face down in front of that player. The player doesn't have to tell the other player how many camels are in his or her pile, but at the beginning of the game it's kind of obvious because you only have so many other cards in your hand. Then you deal out 2 more cards to fill the market. In this case there are no more camels, but it's possible there could have been more camels. You set up these different piles of goods in descending order, so the most valuable good, they have their values on them, and the 4 corners are on the top. And then the bonus tiles are 3, 4, and 5. You just shuffle them up and you place them. So on a player's turn, he's going to do one of 2 things. He's either going to take goods or sell goods. And it's just going to go back and forth until 3 of these piles are empty or the deck is depleted when the market needs to be refilled. So if the market can't be fully refilled or 3 of these piles are empty, the round is over. It's basically a best of 3 game, but let's get in with how you play on your turn. So your options. Take a card. So the simplest thing you can do on your turn is you take 1 good from the market and you immediately refill it with the card from the top of the deck. The second thing you can do is you take all the camels. You can never just take 1 camel, you take them all, and all the camels never go to your hand, they always go into your herd in front of you. And again, you just refill the market to 5 cards. Now your last option for taking cards is you can exchange. So if you want 2 or more goods, again, it can't be a mixture of goods and camels, you have to take all the camels if you take them. You have to trade. You can never just trade for 1 good. So if I want these 2, for instance, I'd have to put 2 cards from my hand down to take them. Or a combination of cards from my hand and camels. I could just take these with 2 camels from in front of me if I chose to do so. So that's it for taking cards. You have those 3 options and you pick one. As far as selling cards, you take cards from your hand. Let's use this because hopefully he has some more. Okay, so you take goods. It has to be 1 or more with some exceptions. But you take all the goods of 1 type. So I can't sell this brown and these 2 greens together, unfortunately. It would be these 2 or this one. So let's say I'm going to sell these 2. Just discard them face up and I take the top 2 tokens of the corresponding color, which are the most valuable. And that would be the end of my turn. I could also just sell 1 brown. But for these 3 goods up here that are more valuable and they're scarcer, there's less tiles in this pile, you must sell at least 2. So even though I would like to sell these rubies because they're worth 7 points, I'm only not able to do that at this time because I need to have at least 2 of them. One other important thing to note on your turn is you can never do an action that results in you having more than 7 cards. So 7 is your hand limit, but it's not like you can go up to 7 and discard. If you do an action that results in you having more than 7, like taking one of these when I already have 7, you cannot perform such action. You'd have to exchange or take camels or what have you. So that's really it, and it goes back and forth until the end. Whoever has the most points at the end of a round is going to get one of these. And your points kind of stay in front of you and they're hidden, so you don't have to show the other player. The only other thing to note is that whoever has the most camels in their herd at the end of the game gets 5 points. So let's jump in with some example play. Let's begin our playthrough. I flipped the hands face up. Obviously this would not be the case in the game except for the camels. And this player nearest the camera is going to go first. So he decides he's just going to take a green and refill the market. Oh, it's another green. This player is going to take all the camels and then the market is refilled. On this player's turn, even though he has 6 cards in his hand, so he's getting kind of full, he says, I'm going to take 1 more of these. So now he's at that hand limit of 7, so he has less options. This player is feeling pretty good because he's got a lot of camels. He's going to trade 3 camels for these 3 cards here. This player is going to sell these 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 means he gets the top 4 cards or tiles in the green stack. And because he sold a group of 4, he gets a bonus of 4. And obviously those are worth more than the 3s and worth less than the 5. So those cards are discarded. This player is going to just go for these. So he has to do at least 2 because these are the expensive group. So he sells 2 of these and gets them. This player is going to take all the camels. And the game kind of proceeds like this. It's very fast, back and forth. And we'll see at the end for a final situation. Welcome back. The round is about to end. It's this player's turn, and he or she is going to sell these 2 gold cards because that's the minimum since it's one of the more expensive types, even though there's only 1 tile left. So this is the only tile this player gets. And then the scores will be calculated. I already kind of broke them down into neat groups of 10. But by the way, these are the backs of the different bonus tiles, so you can clearly see their value. So this player has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 72, 77 points, which is a lot of points. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 64. This player's not looking too good, but does have the most camels, so that's an extra 5 points. Unfortunately, still not enough to overtake this player. So this player would receive a Seal of Excellence. When you receive your second Seal of Excellence, you have won the game, but right now that was the first one given, so another round would be played. It's essentially a best out of 3 situation. So the cards would be shuffled, and another round would be played. Let's finish up with some closing remarks. I wasn't a big fan of Jaipur the first time I played it. Then I played it again, and I said, that was kind of fun. And then I played it again, and I liked it more and more and more each time. I don't really know what I was expecting the first time, but it's a really good game for what it is. It's fun, fast, and colorful. And, you know, there's some tenseness, but it really goes back and forth really well, and I do enjoy the game. There's also a beautiful implementation of it on Board Game Arena, so even if you don't have access to the game itself or you just want to try it first, I strongly recommend you go there because it's a fantastic site. If there's one site that's like playing a game in person, that's the closest I've ever seen is Board Game Arena. So check that out, but the game is a good one. It's in the top 100 games on Board Game Geek. It's done pretty well for itself. So that's Jaipur. I strongly recommend for couples gaming or somebody just looking for a light 2-player card game. Check it out.